The Media Insight Project took a look at American media consumption to see what's going on behind the scenes. Is it true that Americans are drawn to the shiny things that you see in cable news? Are they drawn to people who make a big deal out of small stories? And the truth is, we actually are very diverse in the type of news that we like to consume. So let me give you an example. This survey found that 3/4 of Americans see or hear news daily. So they're actually more informed than we thought. 6 of 10 adults are under the age of 30. 9 in 10 people enjoy consuming the news. 6 in 10 people prefer it to come directly from a news organization.
Yeah, they're still paying attention to news despite the fact that they're younger.
And more than you would think. I mean, I think that the present opinion of millennials these days is that, oh, they don't care about anything, they're just interested in entertaining themselves to death. But this actually shows if that 60% of people under the age of 30 are paying attention to the news daily, that's much more that I think is than most people realize.
Yeah, I think that there is like this misconception that younger people, like millennials for instance, don't want to consume news that has to do with foreign policy or domestic policy, anything smart. You know, they want whatever you see right now on CNN or HLN. And I always find that really, really funny because they don't want that sensationalized content. They want real information, which is why Vice is kicking ass. Vice is kicking ass because they're covering real news in a really smart way that appeals to younger people.
Yeah. What is Vice?
Vice News is like a, it's like a...
The HBO show.
There's a show on HBO called Vice?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So they have like short documentaries. Some of them are as long as 30 minutes, but they do a really good job at like field reporting, basically, long form field reporting. And it's great because they cover topics that appeal to millennials and they don't do so in an inauthentic way. And this has now become a huge ad for Vice.
This is also a reason that we're doing so well here at the Young Turks, because we don't look down on our audience and we do try to present information in an interesting but compelling and educating way.
Exactly.
But Vice is good too.
Not only do I look down at my TYT comedy audience, I resent a lot of them. I'm like, you like me? What's wrong with you? That's how I feel, but I don't ever tell them that, and I would never say it on the show.
So 60% of Americans say it's easier to keep up with news today than it was just 5 years ago. And that makes sense because, you know, there are different ways that you can consume news. There's social media, there's smartphones, absolutely.
Newspaper.
I'm surprised that people don't feel more overwhelmed with the 24-hour news cycle and all the different platforms that you can consume news from. But people do feel that it's easier, so that's good. And also 3 out of 4 young adults who carry cell phones use them to check the news.
And that makes sense, but I will say that I'm kind of pissed off about that because you find so many news organizations optimizing their websites for mobile, which is great when you're on your mobile phone, but it really sucks when you're trying to get more information and the sites are buggy, they don't work as well when you get them on a larger screen. So yeah, that kind of bugs me because I like to see other information that's on the web page and not just the one thing they want to show me.
Yeah, so let's discuss that because one of the biggest issues I have with media right now is how things have turned into either short summaries of big stories or they've turned into lists. So I love BuzzFeed, I love Thought Catalog. I look at those websites when I want to have a good time and just consume like little bits and pieces of information. But sometimes you want in-depth reporting on important stories. And it's getting more and more difficult to find that because with online content, people have shorter attention spans. So they easily get distracted by other social media sites or by advertisements, whatever it is. So they try to keep everything so concise, but you miss out on important details.
Well, it's all about the clicks. Right, so I used to. So when I turn on my computer, the Huffington Post comes up, whatever that's called, and so I'm watching the Huffington Post. I'm reading the Huffington Post, and they just want you to get to click on stuff. So it was, I don't know if you saw it, like a week or two ago. It was, hey, coroner reports determined the death of Philip Seymour Hoffman, and I was like, really? What? Was it a slip and fall? How did he die? What was it exactly? It's like, that's why you go, oh, really? We all know how he died. So I don't know about how you feel about the Huffington Post. I used to like him, but now they got bought by who they got bought, AOL. And now it's just like, I want to read news, and it's just like, hey, Kim Kardashian's got a new ass picture. Hey, look, it's Side Boob Tuesday. Hey, it's like, I cannot go to Huffington Post. I like all that stuff, but I don't want it in my news.
What I like about this study, what I find interesting about this study, is that it shows that people are getting their news from greater places, a much more broader menu of news, and it's not the news that the news establishment thinks people are interested in.
Yeah.
You know, they think, that's what it was, when you were talking about being on another cable network, how they told you our viewers are stupid, so keep that in mind. If you think that your viewers are stupid, you're going to program to that. Versus this shows that people are not stupid. They are actually going to a lot of variety of sources to get a lot of variety, not just entertainment and sports, but they're doing hard news, international news. So this is a good sign.
I actually really love that they talked about that a little bit, because there's also like this stupid assumption that people either like hard news or like the fluff, the dumb news, right?
That's it.
It's either or. But actually, the majority of people like all of it, right? So they don't want nothing but bad, sad news that's going to put them down. They want something to spice things up and maybe like look forward to something. Maybe there's something a little salacious, something that's maybe not hard politics, but it's also interesting information. And we do that at the Young Turks. And then we do have people who are extremists in one way or another. They just want the politics or they just want the entertainment news. And it's like, yeah, those people are actually on the fringes. The majority of people want a little taste of everything.
Yeah. And by the way, to those people who complain, they're like, oh my God, the Young Turks is starting to do X. No, whatever X is, the Young Turks has been doing X for 10 years. They've been doing entertainment stories since the beginning. It's not a new thing, a new invention for YouTube.
Actually, look at the second hour from like 2007. We used to cover...
so much more serious.
Yeah, we used to do a segment called Guess the Camel Toe. If you guys search that on YouTube, I'm not even kidding.
I would like to bring that back personally. I think that would be fun.
He does want to bring that back.
I talk about it from time to time.
If you search for that on YouTube, it's like not my proudest moment.
We'll make it serious, like guess the Russian politician camel toe or something like that. But one thing I want to mention, we've talked about every once in a while, but we are talking about the way people consume news. So some of the stats in this study show that like 3/4 of people watch some TV news every day or something like that. But always bear in mind that despite the huge amount of money that goes into CNN, MSNBC, and Fox for the most part, even the most successful one, Fox, which is way bigger than the rest combined, on any given night, their most successful show gets 2 million viewers, which is nothing of the American population. That means like the one craziest, most conservative person out of 100 is actually tuning into one of their shows on a given night. It's nothing. It doesn't matter that millions are going into it. It's not actually influencing people all that much.